Viral pandemics are a severe threat. COVID-19 is not first, and won't end. We are collecting and sharing about the virus. Hundreds of research teams are combining their efforts to collect data and develop solutions around the world. Machine learning helps in identify who is at risk, diagnose patients, develop drugs faster, finding existing drugs that can help, predict the spread of the disease, understand viruses better, map where viruses come from, predict next pandemic situations. Now, promote the research to fight this pandemic and prepare better for next. 1. Identifying who is at risk. Machine learning proved to be invaluable in predicting risk at many spheres. With medical risk, machine learning is potentially engaging in 3 key roles. Infection risk, the risk of a specific individual or group getting COVID-19. Severity risk, there is a risk of a particular individual or group developing severe COVID-19 symptoms or complications that would require hospitalization or intensive care. Outcome risk, the chance that a specific treatment will be ineffective for a particular individual or group, and how likely they are dying. Machine learning helps in predicting all 3 risks. 2. Diagnose COVID-19 symptoms. When new pandemic hits and diagnosing individual is a bit challenging. Testing on a large scale is difficult, and tests will become expensive at the beginning. Any symptoms of COVID-19 expects to be concerned with contracted disease, if the same symptoms are indicated with many other potentially, under mild infections. When it comes using machine learning, helps to diagnose COVID-19, promising researching areas are by using face scans to identify symptoms such as a patient has a fever. By using wearable technology such as smartwatches look for identifying patterns in a patient's resting heart rate. By using ML-powered chatbots to screen patients based on self-reported symptoms. 3. Speed up drug developments. In response to a new pandemic, it is critical to developing a vaccine with a reliable diagnostic method, and a drug for treatment. The current process involves a lot of trial and error that takes time with a couple of months to isolate a viable vaccine patient. 4. Identifying existing drug. Companies spend a lot of time and money getting new drugs approved. They need to be as sure as possible that these drugs are unexpected with harmful side effects. This process protects us but also slows down during a pandemic when we need a faster response. But there are thousands of drug candidates who do not have time to test them to find the right choice. Machine learning helps us prioritizing drug candidates much faster by automatically building knowledge graphs, predicting interactions between drugs and viral protein. 5. Predicting the spread of disease using social networks. Unfortunately, pandemics are caused by viruses that are difficult and expensive to keep track. One of the problems is that there might be a significant gap in time and space between contracting the disease, developing the first symptoms, and testing positive. By interpreting the content of public interactions on social media, an ML model assesses the likelihood of novel virus contamination. The model might not classify people on an individual level, but it can use all of this data to estimate the pandemic spread in real time and forecast the stretch in the coming weeks. 6. Understanding viruses through proteins. A virus such as COVID-19 needs proteins, and how we get sick depends entirely on how these proteins interact with our bodies. But interpreting them is not an easy task. The following use cases provide a few examples of how ML improves our understanding of viruses by analyzing their proteins. 7. Figure out for attacking viruses. Epitopes are the clusters of amino acids found on the outside of viruses. Antibodies bind to epitopes in which our immune system recognizes and eliminate the virus. Finding and classifying epitopes is essential for determining which part of a molecule to target and develop a vaccine. Compared to traditional vaccines which contained as inactivated pathogens, epitope-based vaccines are safest. They prevent diseases without risk of potential for deadly side effects. Locating a correct epitope can be a time-consuming and expensive process with a new pandemic such as COVID-19. Finding epitopes faster speeds up developing effective vaccines. 8. Identifying hosts in the natural world. We are experiencing a zoonotic pandemic with a novel coronavirus as a pandemic caused by an infectious disease that originates in different species such as bats spreads to human beings. Viruses such as Ebola, HIV, or COVID-19 survive unnoticed in a natural world for a long time, waiting for a next mutation and next opportunity to attack. These hide in animals called as reservoir hosts that are unaffected by illness. Knowing who these reservoir hosts are vital in fighting a pandemic develops strategies to control the disease's spreading and prevent more outbreaks. The classical approach in finding reservoir hosts can take years of research, and there are still many orphan viruses have not been matched to an animal host. By looking at small subsets of species, speed up finding these pathogens in the wild. 9. Predicting the risk of new pandemics. Accurately predicting a strain of influenza will make a zoonotic leap. Jumping from one species to another helps doctors and medical professionals anticipate potential pandemics and prepare. For example, influenza A exists primarily in the avian population, but it can jump to human hosts. Researchers are working on influenza A isolated 67,940 protein sequences from the database. They filtered these sequences so that datasets included only those influenza strains with a complete series of 11 influenza proteins. With ML, these researchers can identify potentially zoonotic strains of influenza with high accuracy levels. Conclude. Machine learning is an essential tool for fighting the current pandemic. If we take this opportunity to collect data, pool our knowledge, and combine our skills, we can save many lives both now and in the future.